Hi. So I wanted to make a quick video showing how I made a sidewalls for the utility trailer that I got from Lowe's for like 600 bucks. Um, we wanted something that didn't interfere with the inside. We wanted to keep that space inside as wide as possible because it fits our kayaks really just quickly. I didn't want to make the inside any smaller than it already was. I wanted to keep it as wide as possible. So what I ended up doing, and I didn't see this online anywhere, what I ended up doing was actually putting all my hardware so that it mounts to the outside. So I'll show you how I did that. That I didn't see online where anybody had done something similar to this. I actually started with the idea that I would drill holes through the steel, but that just took way too long. I burnt up, I think, more than one drill bit in the process of just this one, and there are two holes down here. There's another one. And when that didn't work out, I decided I was going to go with these square-headed U-bolts, and I couldn't find any that were just exactly this size. This is just over 2 inches between the outside to outside. So what I ended up doing is getting these 3-inch ones and putting them on an angle so that it kind of captures and squeezes that. And then I crank these things down really tight so that they're not going up and down at all. They're not moving back and forth at all. From there, what I ended up doing is I actually used some of that same hardware, and I bought these online to add these little pockets for 2x4s. This is all treated lumber. And so what I did is I got all of these in there, made sure that they were all square. I used this metal rail here to make sure that everything was square up and down to this, so that all these pockets line up exactly the same way. What I did from there is that I then came back and put this first rail in place all along the bottom. Figured out how tall I wanted. I got it all laid out. I figured out how tall I wanted to make it. Got this first rail in place, clamped these together so that I could then make this piece of wood, this upright here, square to everything else. Once this was square and the right height, and these were all clamped in place, then I drilled in, or just drilled in 3 screws for every 2x4. And in this case, I wanted it to go as high as possible. I have a cargo net that I'll put over it for our upcoming camping trip. And there's just a 2x4 space. So this is 1.5 inches in between here for each rung. All right. So in the back, to get the same kind of spacing, I ended up taking this to a bandsaw and just cutting this out a little bit so that the light doesn't, or the light was interfering. So I moved that just a little bit and made space. Got the same angled U-bolts, same pocket. Also, you might be able to see that these treated 2x4s are actually just a little bit too big for these. So I cut those down just the tiniest bit. I tried a fixture and my bandsaw drifts a little bit, so I ended up doing that by hand. It worked fine. Just to take a little bit off. So you can see this little lip right here. Just took off maybe a 1/16 or something, a little bit more than that. Just to shave these down so that they fit. They all do lift up and can be removed if ever I need to get them out of the way, but I've only ever used this for camping gear and kayaks and occasionally a lawnmower, but that all fits inside this space. And then because I wanted to make sure that the whole thing doesn't rack too much, I put this cross piece in here. So the kayaks that we haul are actually longer. This is an 8-foot trailer, and we haul 10-foot kayaks occasionally. So the kayaks come up here to the front, just sit in the middle. Never had a problem. They don't interfere with the van that we haul it with at all. So we get those in there, and then this piece here, if I do ever need to take it out, I got this hardware here, and it's real tight. I got it put in there real tight so that so it doesn't move. But I can do that on both sides, take that cross piece out, and then when I'm ready, I just put it back in place nice and tight. I went through, I bought all the bolts I bought were too long because I just mismeasured. I was lucky to get these at the hardware store. I was expecting to get slightly thinner ones, but they didn't have any. So all the bolts I had that were short enough ended up being too short, and I ended up using longer stuff and just cut them off and then hit them with the sander. A few of them I've had to actually take off and put back on. No trouble there. So, but yeah, this is how I went up against the problem of putting sides on my utility trailer and without losing any of the interior space. And if this, I hope somebody else finds this helpful. I want it to be something that other people can use. I've like I said, I couldn't find anybody else had done something quite like this in the past, so hopefully it's out there for you. Thanks for watching.